What's up, guys? We're back at Jones Subwoofer Solutions. I've got the amp you guys have all been waiting to see on the dyno. It is the Taramps Smart8. This is the 1 ohm, 2 ohm model. The base version that comes out in about a month is going to be your half ohm model. But we may run this at half ohms. It just probably will throttle its power. But we got the Taramps Smart8 on the bench. Drop your guesses now what you think it might do. It's rated 8,000 watts RMS at 1 and 2 ohms. So I'll catch you over on the dyno. We'll see what it does. Alright guys, here we are on the Jones Subwoofer Solutions bench. We're going to run through this like we normally do, with maybe a few changes because this is a smart amp. But we're going to run certified, which is up to 1% distortion or clipping. Then we'll run uncertified, which is into clipping or into distortion. Dyno keeps reading. And then we'll do the dynamic runs, which are burst or pulse. It's a pulse track, 40 hertz for the dynamic power run. We're going to start at 4 ohms, then we'll do 2 ohms, and then we'll do 1 ohm. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and try half ohm. We'll add that right into the mix. So if it's anything like the last smart amps, it'll do it. It'll just reduce its power, but it'll do it no problem. It may protect, who knows, we'll see. But we'll get right into it with certified. 4 ohms. We're at 15.1 volts starting. I tried to bring the dyno down a little. I know not all you guys are on lithium, but right around 15 volts is where we're at. So let's see what it does at 4 ohms with 15.15 volts. All right, and the dyno went over. So if I remember from one of my last videos, that means I was over 5,000 watts. I didn't see the distortion light pop up when the dyno went over. So that was 5,000 clean. I'll do an estimate with the amperage and put up what I can estimate that did. But that was over 5,000 watts. So we'll continue now. Fan, if you guys can hear that, the fan on the Taramps did just kick on. So 2 ohms, this is rated 8,000 watts at 2 ohms. We're at 15.1 volts. Let's see what it does. All right, it did rated at 2 ohms. We got 8,592 watts into 2 ohms. It dropped to 14.4 volts. So we'll keep going now. 1 ohm, it should do similar, I assume. We're at 15.09 volts starting. Let's see what it does. All right, it hit 8,270 watts and then it throttled itself. We dropped to 14.3 volts. And then that's pretty good. While we're at it, we'll just go straight to half ohm. We're at 15 volts. Let's see what it'll do. Oh, hang on. I'll reset this. All right, here we go. I know that's falling. Here we go. Half ohm on the Smart8K. All right, I put out more power than I expected. I thought it would throttle back more than that. Half ohm reactive, it did 7,741 watts, dropping to 14.25 volts. So that is pretty impressive, I'd say. And we'll continue. We'll do uncertified. Get rid of my meter here. Oh, lost half of my decal. All right, uncertified 4 ohms. We're at 15.2 volts starting. Let's see what it does. Yeah, once again, over. And we'll continue with 2 ohm. Fan on the Taramps did kick on again. All right, 2 ohms, we're at 15.13 volts. Let's see what it does. I got asked the other day, I use 40 hertz tracks on uncertified, same as certified. All right, 8,486 watts, no clipping or distortion. The amp just started throttling itself. So 1 ohm, we're at 15 volts. Let's see what it does uncertified. All right, same story. It started to throttle itself. It did 8,217 watts into 1 ohm, dropped to 14.2 volts. And we'll give it the half ohm run. Whoops, passed it up. Half ohms at 14.97 volts starting. Let's see what it does. Did almost 8,000 certified. Yep, same thing. 7,706 watts into half ohm, dropped to 14.21 volts. And dynamic, 4 ohms. So again, these are the burst tracks. 15.1 starting. Let's see if, I'm sure we're gonna go over on this, but we'll see what it does at 4 ohms. Yep, so over 5,000 watts at 4 ohms. 2 ohms burst, 15 volts starting. Let's see what it does. So that is over 10,000 watts if I recall. So that is over the amp dyno limits at 2 ohms. More than 10,000 watts dynamic. We'll try 1 ohm dynamic. Here we go. All right, I think that's all we're gonna see. 13,560 watts into 1 ohm, dropping to 14.37 volts. And we'll finish it up with a half ohm dynamic. We're at 15 volts. Smart 8K, half ohm. Here we go. And the amp went into instant protect, guys. It did cycle back on. Here, just to be thorough, we'll try a 0.8. Maybe it won't protect a 0.8. Here we go. All right. We basically matched what it did at 1 ohm. 13,539 watts into 0.8 ohms, dropping to 14.45 volts. I'm going to wrap it up with that, guys. I'll take a second here to put up the performance review. We can get a look inside the amp in just a second. Alright guys, we're back. You can get a look inside the amp. Not a ton going on like most full bridge or most Taramps, but it looks pretty beefy. It looks to be well built up from the previous 8K models. And one thing I did notice right out the bat when I got the case off, so we've got fans on this side and fans, I believe, yeah, those are fans on that side too. In the past it was only fans on one side. So let's get a look at these end caps. We'll start on this end. You have an in and out RCA. You have your gain knob. You have your high pass from 10 to 90 hertz. Your low pass from 90 to 5000 hertz. You have an adjustable bass boost from 35 to 55 hertz. It's a 0 to 10 dB boost. There's a plug for your Taramps monitor. And you have oversized 8 gauge speaker outputs and probably a 12 gauge or so remote wire on that end. And on this end, it's only power inputs. Like I just mentioned, the remote's on the other end. So you've got your grounds on the outside and your positives on the inside. And those are 2-aught. We used 2-aught welding cable. And this is an amp, you may see some gains with dual inputs, you may not. We just ran the 2 runs of 2-aught welding wire into it. So that is it for the Smart 8K. That seemed to be, all the power we expected. Held 8K through 2 and 1 ohms, and we're well over 5K at 4 ohms. So definitely doing what it's supposed to do. The only thing is that half ohm dynamic, you guys will never see that. You guys would have to wire so low. That's really just a stress test of the amp, a test of its protection features, which they worked. So anyway, that's all I've got on the Taramps Smart 8. If you guys have a comment, please drop it below. If you guys have any questions, any requests, please drop them below. Let me know what you think of the video. Hit the like button. Hit subscribe, please, if you haven't. Hit the bell so you know when I post a new video. I want to thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you. Catch you next time.